Rental yields across the UK. Where are the best opportunities? Right, let's get one thing out of the way. Rental yields aren't just about numbers. They're about context, strategy, and sometimes a little bit of good old-fashioned gut instinct. I've seen landlords chase 10% yields and end up with properties that were more headache than home. But I've also watched savvy investors snag a 5% yield in the right postcode and laugh all the way to the bank. So, where are the best opportunities right now? Let's start up north, Manchester. I mean, who hasn't heard the hype? But here's the twist. It's not just about the city center. Try looking at places like Salford, especially around Media City. I had a client who picked up a 2-bed apartment there in 2022. Ex-council block, nothing glamorous. She's pulling in just under 8% net yield after service charges. Not bad, eh? Next stop, Liverpool. Honestly, this city continues to surprise me. Areas like L7, Kensington, Tobruk have been under the radar for years. But student demand, solid refurb potential, and low entry costs are creating an investor's sweet spot. I've had 3 buyers go in with cash in the last 6 months, and every single one is smiling. Oh, and speaking of students, Nottingham. Absolute goldmine if you know where to look. But careful now, it's patchy. A buy-to-let in the NG7 area near the universities? Brilliant. But stray a few streets too far, and suddenly your yield's gone on holiday. Had a newbie investor make that mistake recently. Ouch. Let's swing down to the Midlands. Birmingham's one of those cities that always looks better on paper than it feels when you walk the streets. That said, Digbeth. Yes, that Digbeth. It's gone from don't go there after dark to boutique coffee and co-working spaces in record time. Yields are hovering around 6 to 7% with decent tenant quality if you play your cards right. I got 2 HMOs there under management. Steady tenants, minimal drama. Now, let's not forget the quirky outliers. You ever heard of Hull being a rental hotspot? Neither had I until last year. Bought a terrace house there for a client for £72,000. Refurb was £11,000. Rented at £625 a month. It's not glamorous, but who cares when you're banking over 9%? And now, London. Oh, London. Let me be real. If it's yield you're after, this city will test your patience. Prime zones are beautiful but brutal. You're looking at sub 4% unless you bought 20 years ago or inherited. But, and here's the aha moment, outer boroughs like Barking, Dagenham, or parts of Croydon, sneaky good. I've got a semi-detached in Barking on my books right now, rented to a local family. Not screamingly high, but low voids and high tenant demand make it a quiet winner. Then there's Scotland, Glasgow and Dundee especially. You want big yield energy? Dundee's delivering 8 to 9% in some parts. And let's not forget the student flow. A landlord I work with up there swears by the west end of Glasgow. Victorian flats, big rooms, multiple tenants. The yields? Solid. The headaches? Slightly more than average, but manageable. Wales? Well, Cardiff is getting crowded, but Newport still has some breathing room. Don't sleep on it. One of my colleagues just helped a buyer grab a 3-bed for £130,000, yielding nearly 7% now. And demand is creeping upward thanks to better transport links. And here's a cheeky little tip. Look for commuter towns with train lines into major cities. Think Luton, yes, really, parts of Kent like Gillingham, and even Wellingborough. The hybrid work crowd still needs access to London, but they're not paying Zone 1 rents, and neither should you as an investor. So what's the takeaway? High yield doesn't always mean high return. Cash flow matters, but so does tenant quality, management hassle, and long-term growth. I always tell my clients, don't chase the number, chase the strategy. Think about your time, your tolerance for hassle, and your long game. And maybe, just maybe, don't ignore the oddball towns. That little terrace in Sunderland might just beat your sleek Leeds flat over 10 years. Anyway, off to chase down another off-market deal. Got a landlord looking in Oldham. Says he wants a fixer-upper. Bold choice, but I've seen worse.